Hi, I'm Tim Tyler, and this is a video about temes. Temes is a term coined by Susan Blackmore, and as I'm making this video, Susan has recently published her latest piece on temes in the New York Times, following up from her previous material on the topic in New Scientist, on TED, and on her own website. Her temes are named by analogy with memes and genes, and the term temes means roughly technological meme. Here's Susan at TED explaining the term.
But that's not all. We have a new kind of memes now. I've been wondering for a long time, since I've been thinking about memes a lot, is there a difference between the memes that we copy, the words we speak to each other, the gestures we copy, the human things, and all these technological things around us? I have always, until now, called them all memes. But I think, I do honestly think now we need a new word for technological memes. Let's call them techno-memes or temes. Because the processes are getting different. We began, perhaps 5,000 years ago, with writing. We put the storage of memes out there on a clay tablet. But in order to get true teams and true team machines, you need to get the variation, the selection, and the copying all done outside of humans. And we're getting there. We're at this extraordinary point where we're nearly there.
The concept of team neatly illustrates some of the basic principles of cultural evolution. To start with, there's inheritance. The word team is descended from the word meme, which in turn is descended from the word gene. And then there's variation. The word team is not an identical copy of the word meme, but differs from it in both spelling and meaning. And then lastly, there's the idea of differential reproductive success. That raises the issue of what the fitness of the term team is likely to be. It is hard to say for sure, but I think it would be somewhat surprising if very many people bought into this terminology. The need for terminology to describe temes apparently arises mainly out of the idea that memes are defined as being ideas that are copied via imitation. That definition apparently results in a range of unclassified cultural replicators in the form of culture that's copied by machines, so tape recorders, optical media and disk drives and so on. There, the copying does not happen via behavioural imitation, but rather via mechanical equipment. Susan seems to be the world's foremost proponent of that definition of the term meme. It apparently defines huge swathes of modern culture as being a type of replicator without a name, so Susan feels the need for a new term more acutely than most. One problem is that so few appear to have bought into Susan's definition of the term meme in the first place. Certainly to me, memes are units of culture, and it doesn't seem to be too critical exactly how they're copied around. A definition of meme, based on copying via imitation, leaves out lots of animal traditions that are transmitted down the generations in other ways, and also leaves out a lot of modern human culture, which is copied by machines and without behavioural imitation. I prefer an umbrella definition of the term meme. Dividing culture which is transmitted via behavioural imitation from other types of culture using the definition of the term meme seems profoundly bad to me. It leaves us with no name for the category of all cultural replicators, and that category seems more fundamental and significant than the concept of cultural replicators that work via behavioural imitation. To me, and as far as I can tell to practically everyone else concerned, temes are just another kind of meme. Susan has said that she used to refer to them as such as well. It's no surprise that Susan is the one who's looking for new terminology in this area. From her point of view, there are lots of unchristened replicators around. And also she can't call the brain a meme organ and call computers meme machines, since she's already used the term meme machine to refer to the brain. A problem with attempting a classification scheme that distinguishes between human and mechanical copying is that a lot of human culture doesn't seem to mind very much exactly how it is copied. An idea can be copied by a human, copied by a machine, and then returned to the domain of the humans again. The idea that whether something is a team or a meme depends on what agent happens to be copying it at the time seems rather awkward. Bringing intelligent machines into the definition doesn't help really. Yes, humans and intelligent machines are likely to operate on different types of content, but there will be plenty of crossover initially, a series of shades of grey between human-readable content and machine-readable content. It seems as though there will be no hard line between memes and temes, making the area a challenging zone in which to make category divisions. As far as terminology goes, it's bad enough that we have genes and memes, and genetics and memetics. Memetics is the genetics of ideas, and most of its concepts are ones that are shared with genetics anyway. Terminology triplication, in the form of temetics, seems likely to be overkill to me. It's true that there were some differences in dynamics between humans copying each other's ideas and machines doing the same thing. Machines tend to speak to each other in their own computer languages, and that those are often challenging for humans to comprehend, so the distinction between memes and temes has some virtues. Susan Blackmore originally coined the term, and is currently one of the few people who talks about temes. Everybody likes to invent terminology, and it's nice to be able to contribute to the language. However, there are overheads associated with inventing new terminology. It creates jargon, and requires additional educational steps. I'm not convinced that the term temes is more positive than negative. Sorry, Sue. Enjoy.